Welcome back to another episode of Run the Receipts. I'm your host, Mr. Receipts. Thank you for tuning in with us today. We're going to review a video from First Post. It's titled, "The Bahamas, Mexico Refused to Host Migrants Under Trump's Deportation Plan." I want to play this video. We're going to take a listen to it, and then we're going to do a little review on it, and we'll go from there. So let's take a listen.
We begin in the United States. President-elect Donald Trump's team is making a list of nations to which migrants will be deported if their home countries refuse to accept them. This list reportedly includes the Bahamas, a tourist hotspot in the Caribbean that has now rejected the president-elect's proposal. The Bahamas says it does not have the resources to accept deportation flights of migrants from other countries.
The Office of the Prime Minister wishes to address recent reports regarding a proposal from the Trump transition team in the United States for the Bahamas to accept deportation flights of migrants from other countries. This matter was presented to the government of the Bahamas, but was reviewed and firmly rejected by the Prime Minister. Since the Prime Minister's rejection of this proposal, there has been no further engagement during this matter.
Now, apart from the Bahamas, Donald Trump's list of reportedly includes Mexico, Panama, Grenada, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. The plan could mean that thousands of migrants are permanently deported from the United States to countries they have no connection with. Now, it's unclear whether these migrants would be able to legally work and live in the countries to which they are in fact deported. Meanwhile, Donald Trump would force these countries to agree to his proposal. How he would do so remains a mystery. But what is
So real quick before I continue, now we saw a list of places that Trump is talking about sending illegals if they come to America, and obviously if we don't have the space to take them, or so now we've seen a list of places where Trump said that he was going to send the illegals that come over here to America, and the country said, or places said, that they wouldn't be able to take them due to the lack of resources. As well as this gentleman stated, that they're not quite sure of the plan that Trump has. So like I always say, that those plans can be worked out. It's just an initiative thought, but those can be worked out. But what I will say is, and I like this idea, I mean, he's going to speak on Mexico here in a second, and we'll elaborate on it, but it's a warning to every place else that even if you don't agree with what Trump is doing, what he's telling you is, if you're aiding any of these illegals to come to your country and then march from your country and make their way into America, he's going to hold you responsible for that. You don't just get to say, well, I don't have anything to do with it. These aren't my people, so we don't have to house them. But if there's people that's trekking their way through any of these countries and making their way up here, he's going to hold you liable, and rightfully so. So let's take a listen what he's going to say about Mexico.
So how he would do so remains a mystery. But what is clear is that the incoming president is adamant about expelling millions of people living in the United States illegally.
The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. Not going to be happening. Not going to be happening. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history to get the criminals out. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. We're going to kick them the hell out of our country as fast as possible.
The incoming Trump administration has also vowed to round up and deport foreigners belonging to rival countries like China. Meanwhile, Mexico is hoping to strike a deal with Donald Trump to limit non-Mexican deportees it could receive from the United States.
So about that, we're going to backtrack a little bit too. But now Mexico's trying to strike a deal. But let's use the Chinese, for example, that's coming through here. Of course, the Chinese aren't from Mexico, but they're coming through Mexico. So Trump is saying, okay, well, if you're going to allow them to come through Mexico, once they reach us, I'm going to send them back to you, because when we tried to tell you to set up places or set up walls or security, whatever it is that you need to do, we could have came to terms, or we can help each other to prevent this from happening. But now that I'm telling you, okay, well, I'm going to send them back to your country, we just going to load them up and drop them off. Now everyone wants to talk. Now everyone wants to say that, well, we don't have the resources to be able to keep these illegals coming through. But he's saying, well, you should have thought about that, because you know good and well that you have, whether it's cartel or just individuals in general that are housing these illegals, and then not only are they housing them, they're figuring out ways to get them over here. And then also, not only that, at the border, they're making sure that they charge these illegals to where these illegals have to prostitute themselves in order to pay money back. They have to start selling drugs in America in order to start paying it back. Crime goes up for us, all because you want to look the other way. Whether, I don't know what's going on with Mexico. I'm assuming they may be terrified. Every time I see the woman president that they have, she looks scared to me. She looks terrified, like that's not really what she wants to do, but her hands is tied in both directions. I'm not saying that she's doing anything illegal, but I don't know, is she in fear for her life? Is she in fear for her family? I don't know what the case may be, but it always seems to be something going on in Mexico where they don't want to cooperate. But I like what Trump's doing. He's forcing them to cooperate. And if you do not cooperate, then we just gonna drop it all in your lap, and then we'll build a wall and then we'll set up security and we won't deal with you, and then you'll have to spend all the money and resources yourself to fix the problem. So I'm with it.
Could receive from the United States.
Obviously, we stand in solidarity with everyone, but our main purpose is to receive Mexicans, and we hope to reach an agreement with the Trump administration so that, in case these massive deportations happen, they send people from other countries directly to their countries of origin.
Notably, the U.S.-Mexico border has become a place where migrants from around the world are gathering with hopes of crossing into the United States. And experts estimate that around 4 million Mexicans currently live in the United States without proper documentation and face the threat of deportation. Hence, Mexico cannot afford to exhaust its resources over non-Mexican deportees, as those would be needed to accommodate its own citizens.
So they don't have the money or the resources to accommodate those who are not from their country, but they'll put the charge on the Americans and American citizens to be able to take care of that. But meanwhile, you're not doing anything to prevent them from coming through your border. You're not doing anything.
I think this immigration policy proposed by the President Claudia Sheinbaum is much more complex than that of the previous government. Still, we do not know anything. There is no support. There is no government presence in accompanying these caravans.
You see that? There's no government support whatsoever of what's going on. That's why I said, are they looking the other way? Do they not care? And then just my opinion, I don't believe that they do care, because it's not Mexico where they're trying to settle. They're trying to make their way through America. So it's not their concern. It's not their resources that they have to use. So that's why, like the gentleman said, you don't see any government anywhere to do with what's going on in their country. They're just passing through.
The way I see it, Donald Trump is pressuring her, because Claudia Sheinbaum is not going to say something like that on her own initiative. That's because Trump is pressuring her to say things.
And like any other country, Mexico is not obligated to accept third country deportees. However, it has agreed to do so in the past. The migrants Mexico accepted hailed from countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua, which are difficult for Washington to approach directly due to diplomatic or political reasons.
And the reason why they should take those illegals that come through their country is because they're allowing it to happen and they're not doing anything to stop it. In my opinion, I truly believe that if they work with the American government, if they work with Trump, it would cost them far less than it would be if Trump was to say, all right, well, since you want everybody to pass through your country illegally, we'll just load them all up and we'll just drop them off in your country. So like I said, he's going to force them to change. He's going to force them to stop doing it. And it will cost them far less if they would just help us out and comply than it would be, because Trump is like, all right, I'm going to make this your problem since you're trying to make it ours. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. And until next time, y'all have a good one.